So I want to go across to Supriya Srinit because she's one of the Congress leaders who's been leading this charge on Bael Buddhi. You know, this is the Prime Minister of the country we're talking about. And to have these kind of memes, you're mocking the Prime Minister, what justifies, is this the right thing to do, Supriya Srinit? How do you explain in a country that is the world's largest democracy to have political attacks that get so downright dirty and personal?
Good evening to you, to my fellow panelists and all the viewers here. I'm a practicing Hindu, and as a practicing Hindu, I go with my scriptures. My scriptures teach me, Shathe Shatyam Samacharet. जो जैसा करता है, उसको वैसी ही करनी भरनी पड़ेगी. Like in the Ramcharitmanas, जिन मोहे मारा, तिन मोहे मारा is what Lord Hanuman tells Ravan when he says, Lanka क्यों जलाई? उन्होंने कहा आपने मेरी पूंछ में आग लगाई. I go with what the scriptures teach me. Mr. Narendra Modi, and because you started your program and, twice or thrice there's been this mention of narrative and where is political discourse going? Absolutely. Political discourse has to be on joblessness, it has to be on high prices, it has to be on Manipur, it has to be on income inequality, it has to be on Bharuch railings that are falling apart because look at the number of unemployed youth that are turning up. There is no doubt about it. But if the BJP believes that they are going to come at us with words that are unparliamentary, with action that is unparliamentary, and we are going to sit there quiet, gone are those days. The BJP needs to be paid back in its own coin. And you are absolutely right, he is the Prime Minister of this country, an institution I greatly represent. A man who perhaps at his office needs to maintain the highest code of conduct as far as office and politics is concerned. Where was the Prime Minister and why was the Prime Minister not questioned? He spoke 9 days before we put out these memes. It took us 9 days, and I'll tell you why we put those up. 9 days back, in the 7-minute long speech of Mr. Modi that India Today did show before the start of the program, he spoke about Balak Buddhi 8 times. Do you believe that's the right thing for the Prime Minister to do? We were speaking about the leader of the opposition. There were no eyebrows raised. There were no debates that happened. No hell broke loose yesterday, and we did not react on this because we know that Mr. Modi is given into वो उलझन बोल देते हैं, वो काफी बेवकूफी की बातें कर देते हैं. He's known to say these things. We did not react to that because we didn't think it was an issue. But if the BJP's official handles on Facebook, on Twitter, if they are going to put out similar posts calling Balak Buddhi and putting a picture of my leader, I will retort. Okay, so and I will retort and I will make them pay them back in their own penny.
Okay, so hold that thought. Hold that thought. Supriya, you've spoken enough. You've spoken enough.
The problem with their posts is, Rahul, 1 second. No. Listen to me. The problem with the BJP is that their posts have no engagement because they make lazy, lethargic content. Their post had 2,600 likes. Our post has 21,000 likes. That's the difference. So if you are going to come at us, be prepared for equal and more reaction that will come back to you. I will not let you malign my leadership or call words that are
let me put that question to Geeta Bhatt. Geeta ji, the response from the Congress is that Jaisi karni vaisi bharni. You shall sow what you reap. You shall reap what you sow. And if you're going to attack the leader of the opposition saying he's Balak Buddhi, then the Congress will give it back in the same currency or worse. That's their argument. How do you look at the counter-attack and the questions being asked about whether it is appropriate to call the leader of the opposition Balak Buddhi?
Well, Rahul ji, see, the point is that ever since in this Lok Sabha election, Congress party has got 99 seats and they have got, the legitimate leader of opposition space, which for the last 10 years they did not have, because they did not even have 10% of the 543 seats in the, in the parliament. They are trying to, look for opportunities where they can keep up, that conversation high that they are in a dominating position. And this whole idea of trying to put up this kind of ad by the Congress party and their supporters, it is something, you see, the point here is that when the Prime Minister speaks, there are, certain facts which are being presented with which he is trying to put forth that point. But when you are trying to put forth an ad where you are trying to use a derogatory word, and that too, what is the context that is being put forth? For example, the context that is being put forth is that pakoda, that it is someone who's trying to tell that you can make money out of making pakodas. Is it something that is not happening in the country? Food and beverages industry. There are, especially in COVID, there are so many entrepreneurs who have come out, household ladies who started their, small business, and those who are making very good turnout and money using these kind of opportunities. So this is something, are there any facts which are related to it? And as far as it goes in terms of how many likes a post is getting, you see the algorithm and AI, they are what kind of, there's around it, that how the, you get likes and reposts and the social media. So this is not something which can be used as a
so
media
Rajat Sethi, let me bring you in on this.
What is the like
Do you buy this line of attack? Is this really where political discourse in our country should be going? The Congress says this is a counter attack. The BJP started it, we are countering. I am very concerned about whether politics needs to be so downright personal and whether we need to have this gutter level attacks.
You are right. I think this is a race to the bottom. If at all Congress believes that, Prime Minister was wrong in the words that he chose against Rahul Gandhi, they should be rising up and raising the whole bar of political discourse above. But here, interestingly, Congress social media, which is being led by very eminent leader Supriya ji, and everybody knows her shrills that she deploys regularly on all television discussions, she would certainly drive the discourse even lower. This is just the starting, and I personally feel that this is a bottomless pit, and the narrative that will be unleashed on constitutional positions, this is not. We haven't reached the nadir point. It is going to further lower in quality. It will further lower in discourse, and the country's democracy will suffer. It is the kind of culture that Congress would want to unleash. I agree that the jibe on Rahul Gandhi should have finally stopped, and BJP and the entire trolling that has happened for Rahul Gandhi has had a material impact on his overall being. And I do not support it. But here, if you want to come up with a strategy that, okay, if something wrong has happened to the leader, I will go double down on this and start and leave no stone unturned when it comes to abusing. It clearly reflects their strategy. If they feel that strategy is going to serve them, good luck to them. But I would have expected that if a genuine response was to come from Congress, they should have elevated the discourse.
That's an important point Rajat makes, Sanjay Jha. Why go lower? Balak Buddhi is bad, Bael Buddhi is worse. He says, if the Congress truly wants to be different, raise the standard of discourse. Why sink it even further?
Rahul, good evening. One of the most famous quotes that is applied very often in politics is, it takes two to tango. And let's be real here. The social media, Rahul, is an equalizer. And I remember for a long time, before 2014, when I had come formally on board of the Congress, we knew that the vilification campaign, the whole puppification project against Rahul Gandhi would prove to be a huge social and a political cost for the Congress party, and it played out. Rahul Gandhi, in my opinion, and I say so with complete, shall we say, dispassionate observation, has been the one politician who has been targeted in the most vicious, with the maximum vehemence, and probably with the most brazen prejudice that I've ever seen. And it was not just the political ecosystem that went after him. I think the Congress and he have both paid a massive cost for that campaign of reputation damage and what I call is the harassment that he was subjected to on social media. Here is the point, and that we cannot ignore. The Congress is now saying, खेल आपने शुरू किया है, खेल खत्म हम करेंगे. You see, at the end of the day, it's a competitive space for mindshare, and like it or not, it's a brutal space in politics because it's the last man standing.
No, but the fact is, Supriya,
Doesn't
Shrenik,
get a
most
silver
of the
medal.
times in the past when there have been these kind of personal attacks on the Prime Minister, he's turned it around, used the attack to his advantage. Whether it is Maut ke Saudagar by Sonia Gandhi, there's a whole series of these kind of attacks. Each and every time he's able to counter-attack and use it to his advantage. So you are potentially playing a dangerous game where the BJP can use your attack for a counter-attack, and in the past the Prime Minister has been very successful at that.
Rahul, let me tell you why that has changed. Remember that the social
Rahul, I
media,
will
by
first
its very
respond.
Just
inherent
one second,
nature,
Sanjay. Let Supriya answer. I'll come back to you in a moment. Supriya.
Okay, I thought it was true.
So Rahul, I will first, I take cognizance of your question and I will answer that, but I will first respond to something that you said. You are deeply concerned and quote unquote at the gutter level discourse. Were you deeply concerned and did you do shows when the Prime Minister from
I just want to tell you, we did do shows. We did do shows on Balak Buddhi.
words like Mujra? No, please, one second. Let me please finish. Let me please finish. I'm asking questions that are rhetorical. It's not for you. Please listen to me. When the Prime Minister used words like Mujra, how many people lost sleep? How many tweets happened? How many anchors, editors were dismayed at the language that the Prime Minister was using? How many people were dismayed, distraught and devastated when the Prime Minister used words like Mangal Sutra? When he said, "Aapki bhains chura le jayenge, aapka toti aur bijli kaat denge." I mean, the Prime Minister has reduced the discourse to an extent where he was calling Dr. Manmohan Singh Mon Mohan and raincoat pehen kar naate hain. I am not even going what he called my former Congress President, Mrs. Gandhi. I am not even going to the extent of reputation assassination that the BJP tried to do of Rahul Gandhi, and I'm all for it. You know, I'm all for personal attacks here. Somebody will come here and say, I have shrill deployment. I don't care. I do a job and I put my might at doing it. And if that means that I am going to pay you back in your penny, I jolly well will. I did not misquote the Prime Minister, and I think the point that you are making is a valid point. But that point was valid about 5 years back. That point is no longer valid today. This ability of the Prime Minister to use what is thrown at him to his advantage, it's a lesson of history. It's no longer relevant. Mr. Modi was mercilessly attacked through the campaign of 2024. He has been brutally curtailed. This is what Mr. Modi said. Radar, बारिश हो रही थी तो radar नहीं देखेगा. He says, सर्दी नहीं बढ़ी है, हमारी उम्र बढ़ गई है. He says, नाले में पाइप लगाकर एक गैस बना लो, उससे आप चाय बना लो. This is not my statement. This is what Mr. Modi is saying. Mr. Modi is not affected by this. I don't know why you guys dismayed. He is non-biological. It is biological people like you and me who get affected by taunts, who get affected by memes, who get affected by quotes. He is non-biological, which is why the BJP is not here. And may I dare say, the supporters of the BJP do more harm to Mr. Modi than actually his detractors. I mean, somebody who's a professor pontificating here how the pakoda economics is so good. Really? You really want to say that when unemployment is at a 9-month high? I mean, my issue is that if you are going to throw barbs at others, please remember they will be thrown back.
Okay, let Geeta Bhatt respond to this point. When you throw darts come back at you. That's politics. She said, bring it on. She says she's willing to get down and dirty. She says, this is politics. Sanjay Jha said, let it be the last man standing. Ho jaye dangal.
Rahul ji, just to put forth here, I'm just reminded that how during the, I think, 2018 Rajasthan election, Rahul Gandhi ji had first time used for the Prime Minister, Chaukidar Chor hai. And he had to actually, in front of the Supreme Court, he had to give an explanation that this was actually a political jibe during the Rafael case, when, that there was, the propaganda was set up by the Congress party. Supriya ji is a very senior leader. She has her point of, opinion on everything, including me. That is her choice. But the point here is that what happened and then how that, as Rahul ji, you just said, that how he had turned the campaign in 2019, मैं भी चौकीदार, and how the whole country had come out in favor of that line that we all have seen. Also, let us also remember that the Prime Minister today, for the last consecutive, let me please complete.
Supriya, don't be unfair. Let us speak. Supriya, don't be unfair. Let us speak, please.
We have seen, Rahul ji, that in the last 3 to 4 years, Prime Minister has been the most popular leader across the world, and this is a survey which has not been conducted neither by the government of India or any supporters of the political party, which is in power today. So the point is that by doing this kind of a negative campaign, probably for the Congress party is thinking that they will be able to in some way.
Okay, Sanjay Jha, respond to what Geeta Bhatt is saying, that the Congress, Rahul Gandhi came up with Chaukidar Chor Hai, the PM turned it around, Main bhi Chaukidar. He's done this masterfully in the past, and he and his team could potentially be looking for an opportunity to turn this attack around as well, that this is backfired in the past. People don't like it when people get personal, and this could potentially backfire again, Sanjay Jha.
See, Rahul, the first thing in politics that we all need to understand is that the public is a lot more discerning than we give them credit for. So, the whole, as you rightly have raised this very pertinent point, that if the public conversation is really becoming very abysmal, trust the people of India to take cognizance of who is right and who is wrong. I want to make 2 points here. Number one, you see, the social media, by its very inherent, intrinsic nature, that's the nature of the beast, is meant to be anti-establishment because the people get a voice. Over the last 10 years, I think everybody recognizes there has been a lot of fear in the country. And if you look at the 2024 campaign, Mr. Modi was more an object of memes and social media caricatures than Rahul Gandhi was. And I think it showed, right? Where if you look at the CSDS survey, Rahul Gandhi was seen as a more popular candidate for Prime Minister than Mr. Modi. So I think
that's
things
not correct.
change
That's
in
only
politics.
in some parts. Net, that's not correct. So don't misquote data.
Yeah,
You're much smarter than that.
I'm talking about Uttar Pradesh.
Okay, sure.